Good evening. Welcome to South Asia Newsline. I'm Surabhi Sharma. Here are the top stories we are tracking for you on Wednesday, the 29th of August. Indian Foreign Minister holds talks with Cambodian counterpart to boost ties. Two terrorists gunned down in encounter in India's Jammu and Kashmir. And Afghanistan, Russia to co-host future peace talks, says Afghan Foreign Ministry. And now for all the details, Indian Foreign Minister Sushma Swaraj on Wednesday held talks with her Cambodian counterpart in Phnom Penh City. The two leaders discussed the entire spectrum of bilateral and regional issues to further strengthen cooperation between Cambodia and India. Indian Foreign Minister Sushma Swaraj on Wednesday met her Cambodian counterpart Prak Sokhonn in Phnom Penh City to boost bilateral ties between the two countries. During delegation-level talks, both the leaders held discussions covering the entire spectrum of bilateral and regional issues of the mutual interests. The latter signed two agreements, one on restoration and preservation of the World Heritage Site of a Shiva temple in Cambodia and on cooperation between India's Foreign Service Institute and Cambodia's National Institute of Diplomacy and International Relations. The Indian Foreign Minister later in the day also called on Cambodian Prime Minister Hun Sen as part of a two-day visit to the Southeast Asian nation. Swaraj arrived in Cambodia on Tuesday after holding talks with the top political leaders in Vietnam. Her four-day visit to the two key Southeast Asian nations is aimed at strengthening strategic cooperation. Security forces gunned two terrorists in an encounter in Anantnag district of India's northern Jammu and Kashmir province on Wednesday. Meanwhile, in another incident, 4 policemen were shot dead by militants in Shopian district of the province on Wednesday.
Two terrorists were killed in an encounter with security forces in Anantnag district of India's northern Jammu and Kashmir province on Wednesday. The encounter broke out after a search operation was launched by security forces upon information of the two terrorists belonging to Pakistan-based terror outfit Hizbul Mujahideen hiding in a village in Anantnag district. The slain terrorists were identified as Altaf Ahmad Dar and Umar Rashid Wani. Officials said Dar, a top Hizbul Mujahideen commander, had been involved in several attacks on security forces and civilians in the past.
There was a specific information on which the operation was launched. Army, CRPF and J&K police coordinated the operation. In the operation, two HM terrorists were eliminated. They have been identified as Altaf Kachru and Umar Majid Wani. And these two were very important terrorists. Altaf Kachru was active for a very long period and he was involved in a number of civilian atrocities.
India accuses Pakistan of regularly arming and infiltrating militants across the border to spread unrest in Kashmir Valley. Pakistan denies the allegations.
In news from Pakistan, the Election Commission of Pakistan on Wednesday approved the nomination papers of Dr. Arif Alvi, E'tizaz Ehsan and Maulana Fazlur Rahman for the presidential election. President Mamnoon Hussein's 5-year term is set to expire on September 9th. Polling for the presidential election will be held on September 4th. Candidates have until Thursday to withdraw their nomination papers, after which the final list will be made public on the same day. The president in Pakistan is elected through a secret ballot by an electoral college comprising members of the Senate, National Assembly and 4 provincial assemblies. Moving on, activists and residents staged a demonstration recently in Muzaffarabad city of Pakistan-administered Kashmir over massive reduction in the flow of water of Neelam River. The protesters blamed that Pakistan has been diverting the water from the river, depriving the public in the illegally occupied region for their most basic right.
Activists and locals blocked roads in Muzaffarabad city in Pakistan-administered Kashmir recently, showing their resentment against the newly commissioned Neelam Jhelum project. Adding more to the hardships, the project has posed a serious environmental concern for the public that saw a major reduction in the flow of Neelam waters passing through their towns. The project has been laid 25 miles east of Muzaffarabad by forcefully diverting natural flow of Neelam River from Nausiri through tunnels bored against the geological limitations of the region. This diversion of river has caused serious water shortage, making life miserable for the local people.
जो ये जहाँ से टनल ये गुजरी है वहाँ पे पूरे इलाके में पानी की शॉर्टेज हो गई है। साल से कुदरती चश्मे खुश्क हो गए और ये हमारा दरिया एक हमारा कदीमी विरसा था। अरसे दराज से ये इसी तरह बह रहा था, लेकिन आपकी और मेरी मौजूदगी में इसको खत्म किया गया। ये आने वाली नस्लें हमसे कल जरूर सवाल करेंगी कि आप कहाँ थे। अगर आज भी आप न जागे तो कल आप इन बच्चों को कोई जवाब नहीं दे सकेंगे।
पानी का फ्लो नहीं है, इसलिए दरियाए नीलम खुश्क होने के बाद एक नाला लई से भी बदतरीन शक्ल अख्तियार कर जाएगा। मैं सलाम पेश करता हूँ शहीद अंजुम महल को, जिसने इन खतरात को भांपा और आज उन लोगों को, जिसमें मैं भी शामिल हूँ, जिंदगी के पहले प्रोटेस्ट में खड़ा किया।
Residents blame Islamabad has consistently maintained its oppressive attitude towards people of the region and has even ignored their basic demands. A part of the erstwhile Jammu and Kashmir province of India, Pakistan-administered Kashmir was annexed by Pakistan illegally more than 6 decades ago.
In news from Afghanistan, Afghan Foreign Ministry on Tuesday confirmed that the government is all set to co-chair the proposed future talks in Moscow on peace in Afghanistan. This comes after the government on Monday announced that the talks to be held in September had been postponed.
Afghanistan and Russia are set to co-chair proposed future talks in Moscow on peace in Afghanistan, the Afghan Ministry of Foreign Affairs said on Tuesday. Nasir Adin Shah, the acting Deputy Foreign Minister for Management and Resources in Afghanistan, said representatives from the two countries are drawing up a schedule for the talks. This comes after the government on Monday announced that the talks to be held in September were postponed following telephonic discussions between Afghan President Ashraf Ghani and Russia's Foreign Minister Sergei Lavrov.
افغانستان با هیئت‌های فدراتیو روسیه و با کشورهایی که کشورهای همکار نزدیک ما هستند، کشورهای همسایه ما در آسیا مرکزی و اینا و همسایه‌های دیگه ما، که به توافق برسیم سر یک تاریخ جدید، سر آجندای اساسی که خدا خواسته باشه از او یک چیز درست به وجود بیاد. یعنی سر کام تاریخ مشخص ما فعلا کار نکردیم و گذاشتیم که تاریخ به اساس اجماع به وجود بیاد.
Last week, the Taliban announced it would attend the Moscow talks, but both the US and Afghanistan turned down the invitation, citing any such discussions should be Afghan-led. Previously, meetings on Afghan peace were held in Indonesia, Qatar, Saudi Arabia, Uzbekistan and in Moscow too.
More on news from Afghanistan. Government officials have claimed that the Afghan army soldiers have been deserting their bases without a fight. In a recent attack by Taliban, soldiers were seen leaving bases in Faryab province. The high casualty rate among security forces has also become an increasing concern for the government.
Afghan government officials on Tuesday claimed that army forces have deserted their bases across the country over the last 2 weeks. Many casualties have been caused on security forces' end in the Afghan-Taliban conflict. While moving from Ghormaj to Kaisar district on Monday, the army convoy was ambushed by Taliban, leaving at least 20 soldiers dead. Several reasons are being presented by different officials behind the move.
بدون جنگ ما بعضی مناطق را که طور شما اشاره کردین از دست دادیم.
نظر به اون پلان 4 ساله امنیتی که او پلان به 6 ساله تغییر می‌یابد، چون ما اون حمایت مالی که در بروکسل دریافت کردیم تا سال 2024، یعنی نامی تغییرات جاهای اردو و دیگر نیروی امنیتی که از نظر به اون پلان صورت می.
Kunduz city officials have claimed that Taliban has repeatedly stormed army bases over the last month and has killed around 40 to 50 soldiers in every base. The high casualty rate among security forces in recent months has become a serious concern for the government.
Moving on to news from Nepal, Nepal's Prime Minister KP Sharma Oli has said the treaties and agreements between India and Nepal are undergoing a revision phase. While talking about the upcoming BIMSTEC summit in the parliament on Tuesday, Oli claimed that the revisions are being made on the suggestions of the report by the Eminent Persons Group.
Nepalese Prime Minister KP Sharma Oli on Tuesday said that the treaties and agreements made between India and Nepal are undergoing a revision phase. In his address to the Parliament about the BIMSTEC summit, scheduled to start from Thursday in the Himalayan nation, the Premier claimed that the revisions are being made on the suggestions from the Eminent Persons Group or EPG report. Oli also expressed hope that the BIMSTEC summit will be very fruitful to achieve sustainable development and to expand connectivity.
छिमेकी मित्र राष्ट्रहरूसँग पहिले र अहिले गरिएका सहमति र सम्झौताहरू तीव्र रूपमा कार्यान्वयनमा आएका छन्। नेपाल भारत प्रभुत्व समूहको प्रतिवेदन तयारी अवस्थामा छ। 1950 को सन्धि नामै उच्चारण गर्नु नहुने विषय जस्तो मानिन्थ्यो। कतिपय प्रश्नहरू त्यस्ता ठानिन्थे। ती सबै प्रश्नहरूको नयाँ उचाइबाट नयाँ सिराबाट आजको आवश्यकता आजको समय अनुसार तिनीहरूलाई
The 4th BIMSTEC summit is scheduled for August 30th and 31st in Nepal's capital Kathmandu, which Indian Prime Minister Narendra Modi will also attend. Nepal has assumed the chairmanship of BIMSTEC group since 2014. Nepal, India, Bangladesh, Sri Lanka, Myanmar, Bhutan and Thailand are member countries of the international group.
Handicraft centres open in India's northern Jammu and Kashmir province are encouraging women to learn weaving skills to empower them. The centres are mainly joined by women from weak financial backgrounds to enable themselves to be skilled and earn their livelihood.
With an aim to empower women, handicraft centres in Rajouri district of India's Jammu and Kashmir province are encouraging women to learn handicraft skills. The centres provide handicraft training of 1 to 2 years to young girls and women, both educated and uneducated. Women at the centres are getting trained for cutting, tailoring, embroidery and other handicraft skills.
ऐसा भी नहीं है, गरीब लड़की हैं बहुत ज़्यादा, वो ज़्यादातर वो भी इधर आती हैं काम करने के लिए, तो वो भी काम सीखती हैं। जब सीखेंगी काम तो घर में जाके तो खुद करेंगी, जाके फिर अच्छा काम करेंगी।
गरीबी की वजह से मैं स्कूल नहीं जा सकी आगे। यहाँ हमारा सेंटर है, 25 लड़कियों का ग्रुप है, 9 बजे आती हैं, 2 बजे वापस जाती हैं, तो बहुत अच्छा चल रहा है। धागा भी यहाँ से मिलता है, कपड़ा भी यहाँ से मिलता है, बहुत अच्छा है। हम ही चाहते हैं आने वाली लड़कियाँ और भी यहाँ से सीख के जाएँ अपना।
The centres have been opened under the Department of Social Welfare Training. The initiative gives special preference to orphans, financially weak women and widows. Till now, more than 20 centres have been opened in Rajouri district.
Well, that's the way it was in South Asia this evening. Before we conclude, the top stories once again. Indian Foreign Minister hold talks with Cambodian counterpart to boost ties. Two terrorists gunned down in an encounter in India's Jammu and Kashmir. And Afghanistan, Russia to co-host future peace talks, says Afghan Foreign Ministry. And now our viewers can watch the show on SouthAsiaNewsline.com. You can also visit us on Facebook.com/SAsiaNewsline and follow us on Twitter @SAsiaNewsline. That's all in tonight's edition. We will see you same time tomorrow. Good night.